This is amazing grace. Hey, welcome to MarketFaith.Online. We're delighted to welcome you. We're delighted to have you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome to MarketFaith.Online. My name is Deji Agboade. I'm delighted to welcome you. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode. Now, today, what we want to do is that we want to talk about what I call the engines of business growth. What are the things that facilitate growth in a business, and how do you think about growing your business? And one of the things I found is a framework that helps you think through how to achieve growth in your business. So I want to talk about that today. The three primary engines of growth. What you find is that many times people have a blend in the way they grow their businesses, but usually the primary source is usually around these three things, and then you can have a mix and a blend in different ways, in one way or the other. Okay, so how do we grow a business, and what are what I call the engines of growth, the things that facilitate growth in a business? What are those things? How can you leverage them and execute on them to ensure that you deliver on what you want to deliver in your business? Now, the first thing is this: everything in life is designed to grow. I want you to sit back and say this to yourself. Everything in life is designed to grow. All right, that's very important. Because sometimes people say things like, oh, is growth important? Should I be growing? etc. Look, everything in life is designed to grow, okay? So you should be growing, and the things that you're doing should be growing. So why is growth important? Number one, it is a sign of life. Growth is a sign of life. If you have a plant that is not growing, chances are that there is no life in that plant. You don't want a child that is not growing. You don't want a business, therefore, that is not growing. So growth is a sign of life. One of the reasons why growth is important is because growth is a sign of life. The second reason why growth is important is that it is often tied to our fulfillment. The way we are wired as human beings is that we're looking for progress, we're looking for growth, we're looking for advancement. Our definition of fulfillment comes from knowing that the things that our hands are doing are growing. So it's very, very important that you grow. Why? Because for many people, their fulfillment is tied to that growth. Okay, so no one feels fulfilled if they are not growing. No one feels fulfilled if they are not growing. So that's very important. The third reason why growth is important is that growth is a signature of God. Anything you see the hand of God upon must grow. That's the way God is, right? If he puts his hand on 5 loaves and 2 fish, right, that will multiply. If he puts his hand on anything, whatever it is, right, it will grow. He says, I am the vine, you are the branches. The branches are designed to grow. Even the vine itself grows, all right? So it says that you anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. The signature of God is abundance. The signature of God is growth. All right. So I believe that growth is very important and critical. And the last reason why I believe that growth is really important is because growth is beneficial to humanity. Growth is beneficial to mankind. The number of people you can impact will always be limited by your growth. So you cannot, for example, the reason why some people cannot help people beyond their extended family is because the things they have can only feed and can only help the people in their extended family. But when you grow, when you increase, when you expand, you can do much more. You can be more generous, all right? You can give more. You can do much more. Bill Gates started the world's most expensive startup by investing $20 billion in an NGO that was designed to tackle malaria in Africa and in the world. He wouldn't be able to do that if he hadn't grown Microsoft to the point where it made him one of the richest people in the world. So very, very important is to understand why growth is important. Now, the question I want to ask you today is that, is your business structured for growth? Because over the years, one of the things I've found is that not every business is growable, right? not every business can scale. Let me put it differently. Every business can grow, but not every business will grow. Every business can grow, but not every business will scale. All right? Because when you're talking about scaling, you're talking about taking growth to an exponential level. Okay, and that is different from just growing by adding 1 plus 1. It is growing in an exponential way. So I realized something, that not every business is scalable. Let me say that again. Not every business is scalable. Every business can grow, the revenue can grow, turnover can grow, but not every business is scalable. So what are the characteristics of businesses that are designed to grow and that are designed to scale? I'll give you two characteristics. Two characteristics of businesses that are designed to scale. When you see these things in a business, you know that that business has the possibility of scaling. When you don't see these things in the business, then scaling that business becomes very difficult. One of the characteristics of growth is that it is not dependent on you for it to work. Whenever you are working in a business where the business requires your input directly before that business can grow, and it requires it over time, forever, right? You are not necessarily in a business that can scale. And I'll give you an example. Imagine that every time you wanted to start your Toyota car, you needed Mr. Toyota himself to be there to help you start it. The number of people that can have that car will be limited to his locality. That's the reality, because he can't be traveling everywhere every single time to help everybody start the car. So for him to scale, he must design the car in a way that without his input, that car can start and that car can move and that car can operate. So if you run a business today and that business cannot grow without you, you don't necessarily have a business. My friend puts it this way. He says you have a trap, because the business has trapped you in, because without it, that business cannot work. That's not a business, that's a trap. The reason why is that the business has trapped you, because he knows that without you, the business cannot survive. So it traps you in. So it's not a good thing whenever you hear people say things like, oh, I've not taken a vacation in 2 years. What kind of business are you running? I've not taken a vacation in 10 years. What kind of business are you running? The business that you are running that can't do without you is not a business, it is a trap. All right. So for you to know a business that is scalable and that is growable, right, the business has to be able to work without the direct input, so to speak, of the owner. The second characteristic of a growable and a scalable business is that it is financeable. Not all businesses are financeable. To be financeable means that if I put money in you, if I put 100 million in you, your turnover will grow from X to Y exponentially. So there are many businesses today that if you give them 10 million, if you give them 100 million, they don't know what to do with it. They absolutely don't, because their business is not financeable. So when you find businesses that there is no correlation between funding and growth, it's very likely that those businesses are not financeable. Many people, the way they run their consulting firms, their firms are not financeable, because if you give them money today, right, and you say, look, I want you to invest this 100 million that I'm giving you into this business, they don't know what to do. They can't buy raw materials, they can't buy goods, they can't buy more products, they don't know what to do. Most of them will just put the money in marketing, and they don't know they can't invest in the people that are required to scale and blow up the operations of the business. They've not defined systems, they've not defined structures that helps their business grow. So I thought it was important to mention these things before we go into the main gist of today, which are the 3 engines of growth for any business. Number 1, why is growth important? We've talked about that. The second thing we've talked about is your business structured for growth? Is your business scalable? And there are 2 characteristics. There are several other things, but 2 characteristics that we've covered as to the nature of the business that can grow. Now, so the 3 engines of growth in a business, right? The 3 engines of growth in a business are the paid engine of growth, the sticky engine of growth, and then what we call the viral engine of growth. Now, what do these mean? When we talk about engines of growth, what exactly we're talking about, or what exactly are we talking about? We're talking about what are the things, the primary ways, right, that this particular business can grow. What avenues and things can you engage in that helps the growth of this business? Now, the paid engine of growth is the kind of growth that comes from doing social media adverts, all sorts of advertisements and things like that. Why? You are paying to get customers, right? And so what happens in the paid engine of growth is that the only way, the primary and probably the best way that kind of business can grow is when you advertise, and when you really, spend a lot of money in getting customers to come in first time. Because many times for paid engines of growth, not all the time, but a lot of times for paid engine of growth, they are used in businesses where you are selling something that usually may not have repeat customers, right? When you can't get repeat customers in what you're doing, you want to really leverage on the paid engine of growth. So I'll give you an example. Most people in their lifetime will probably buy one house in one location. So for example, they will buy a house in Lagos, and the next house may be, in their village or wherever, right? Most people, that's what they will have. Now, in that kind of situation, once you have bought a house, chances are that you really don't need another house, at least not in that specific location, okay? So for those types of opportunities and those types of businesses, they spend a lot of money in paid adverts and things like that, so that they can attract people who will buy, and they're gone. That's it pretty much. So in the paid engine of growth, it doesn't mean you can't use it in another type of engine of growth, but it means that primarily it's a very good source and a very good way for attracting customers for whatever it is that you are doing. Now, the second engine of growth is what I call the sticky engine of growth. The sticky engine of growth, right, is largely for businesses that leverage or succeed based on repeat usage and repeat patronage. So I'll give you an example. If you look at a supermarket, right, no supermarket wants to attend to somebody only once. You want to attend to that person and keep attending to that person, that person's family, and all those types of things, right? In the sticky engine of growth, you're asking yourself, what are you doing to make your customers stick? What are you doing to ensure that they come back, right? So for example, you find that in some supermarkets, one of the things that they do is that they brand their plastic bags, and they brand all those types of things. Why? Because what you don't know is that you are unknowingly advertising for them, and once they see that you are using this particular supermarket, right, what that does is that they begin to attach some level of credibility to the things that you do. So in the sticky engine of growth, what you're doing is that you understand that the nature of your business is such that you rely a lot on repeat customers, right? Examples, like we said, are supermarkets, maybe consulting firms, salons, and those types of businesses, right? In those types of businesses, you want to leverage the sticky engine of growth, right? It doesn't mean that you cannot use the paid engine of growth, right? It just means that even when you bring them in, you want to spend a lot of time keeping them and recycling those customers over and over and over again. And then the last one is what you call the viral engine of growth, which is virality. Not many businesses will go viral. That's the truth, right? As a matter of fact, I find that the businesses that go viral are usually tech businesses. They are applications, mobile applications, and things like that, right? Because they take advantage of what you call network effect. In other words, they are more valuable the more people come and the more people use that platform. Facebook is more valuable because you and I are on Facebook. Instagram is more valuable because you and I are on Instagram. If I was the only person on Instagram, it's not going to add a lot of value to them as an organization or as a business, right? So the reason why, the viral engine of growth is important is because there are certain types of businesses, especially tech-related businesses, that will go viral, right? Today, the reason why videos are going viral is because they leverage a platform that allows for virality as an engine of growth. In fact, in viral engine of growth, word of mouth is often done, it doesn't go as fast, doesn't go fast enough, right? Because you just find people adopting, and it's going very viral. Now, The key thing to understand with the engines of growth is that most people will have a primary engine of growth and a secondary engine of growth, right? It's very rare that people deploy all three, right? But you find that for many people, right, it's either they are doing a lot of paid adverts, or they are leveraging their existing customers to get more customers, or they are leveraging the power of virality, the network effect, the fact that more people are bringing themselves onto a particular platform that makes that platform more valuable. So what that means at the end of the day for you, right, is that as a business, you need to ask yourself, what am I doing? How am I attracting customers to my business? Am I using the paid engine of growth or the viral engine of growth, or a combination of both? In other words, I use the paid engine of growth to get customers, and I do something on the sticky side that ensures that those customers that I've already acquired, they keep doing business with me over time and over the long term. So what I've shared with you is just something that helps you think through growth in your business and what you can do to ensure that you have the growth happening in the right way in your business. And that's very important. So we've talked about the importance of growth. We've talked about the kind of business that can grow, structured for growth. And then obviously we've talked about the three major engines of growth. When you look around, most businesses, they are deploying one or more of these engines of growth. That's essentially what they're doing to grow their respective businesses. All right. So I encourage you today to think through your business and think about it and ask yourself the question, how exactly am I growing this business? What exactly am I doing at this time to ensure that I am deploying the right initiatives that ensures that my business grows? I hope this has been helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today.